The morning sun cut through the blinds of the Burbank studio, sharp and unforgiving, as Jasmine Crockett stepped into the ABC building. She wasn't there to play nice or chase applause. Her navy pantsuit was crisp, tailored to her frame, with gold studs glinting under the fluorescent lights. Her box braids were pulled into a high bun, no fuss, no frills, just a woman who meant business. She moved with the kind of confidence that didn't need to announce itself, though the eyes of the crew followed her every step. Terrell, her press secretary, trailed a half step behind, his phone buzzing with updates. "Segment's been bumped by 5 minutes," he said, voice low. "Producers hinting they might throw something at you outside the prep." He glanced at her, cautious. Could be about the judiciary hearing. That combative thing. Jasmine didn't flinch. "Let them," she said, her voice steady, eyes fixed ahead. "I came to talk, not to soften." They navigated the maze of corridors, past glossy photos of smiling celebrities and framed shots of past guests. A young assistant offered water. A makeup artist did a quick touch-up. Jasmine kept her phone on airplane mode, not out of habit, but because silence kept her sharp. In the green room, a monitor played the live show. The hosts were already deep in political chatter, immigration, inflation, border talk, words tossed around like they carried weight. Jasmine watched, unimpressed. People talking in circles, pretending to cut through the mess, didn't faze her. What did was the chance to say something real. A producer popped in, clipboard in hand. "Congresswoman, we'll bring you out after the next segment." 3-minute lead-in, then a 10-minute sit-down. They'll start with voting rights. Jasmine nodded. Voting rights were her territory, carved out not in think tanks or cable debates, but in Dallas courtrooms and Grand Prairie offices where working-class folks waited hours to register a complaint. She rolled her shoulders once, loosening up. Terrell tapped the armrest. "If Sonny brings up tone, don't let it throw you." Jasmine's smile was sharp, no teeth. "I'm ready." The stage manager waved her forward. The lights behind the curtains glowed blue and white, and the applause for her entrance cue swelled. She didn't care about the sound. What mattered was what came after it stopped. Stepping onto the stage, she met the panel's polished smiles. 5 women, all camera ready, some curious, others playing warm for the audience. Whoopi gave her a soft nod, leaning into her note cards. "Our next guest has made waves in Congress for her no BS attitude and fierce defense of democracy. Please welcome Representative Jasmine Crockett." The applause roared. Jasmine shook hands, exchanged quick greetings, and sat, legs crossed, waiting. Joy Behar opened with an easy question about Texas voter ID laws and their impact on marginalized communities. Jasmine answered smoothly, citing stats, her voice clear and even, no need for cue cards. She was in her element, weaving data with the kind of clarity that came from years in courtrooms. Alyssa Farah followed, asking about her legal background. Jasmine pivoted, explaining how defending clients facing decades in prison shaped her fire on the House floor. "When you fought for people with nothing but a prayer and a public defender who didn't care, you stopped mincing words," she said. The audience laughed, and Anna Navarro raised an eyebrow, impressed. For a moment, the segment flowed, lively, pointed, the kind producers dream of. But tension doesn't announce itself. It creeps in, quiet, waiting for the right moment to strike. Sunny Hostin shifted in her seat, her smile unchanged, but her voice carrying a new edge. "Congresswoman Crockett," she began, flipping to a different card. "You've been in the headlines a lot lately, not just for what you've said, but how you've said it." Jasmine stayed still, her posture steady. Sunny pressed on. "Some people on the right and left have called your tone during recent Judiciary Committee hearings intense. Combative. Some say it undermines your credibility. What do you say to that?" The words landed like a slap. A few gasps rippled through the audience, soft but enough to shift the air. The kind of moment where everyone leans forward, waiting. Jasmine leaned back slightly, letting the silence linger a second longer than needed. Then she spoke. "You know, Sonny," she said, her voice deliberate, "it's always fascinating how we talk about tone when women speak with certainty. And it's even more fascinating when that conversation almost always finds its way to women who look like me." Whoopi glanced up from her notes. Jasmine didn't blink. Nobody says anything when a man on that committee yells, interrupts, talks over others. They call that leadership, But when I raise my voice, or even when I don't, but make it clear I won't be walked over, it's too much. Suddenly, I am angry. I'm aggressive. I'm a problem. She scanned the panel, then locked eyes with Sunny. I came here to talk about policy, voting rights, gerrymandering, the people being silenced by bad faith laws. But I'm answering a question about how my passion is being read as hostility. A few claps broke out, and a camera operator adjusted his shot. Sunny kept her expression neutral. "So you don't think there's value in tone moderation?" she asked. Jasmine tilted her head. "Moderation for who? For the comfort of the person interrupting me? Or for the voter who's never had someone fight for them that hard?" More applause, louder now. A woman near the front folded her arms, muttering, "That's right." Anna Navarro jumped in, easing the tension. "Jasmine, I think it's refreshing to see someone bring heat to that committee. Those hearings are wild. If you don't push back, you get steamrolled." Jasmine nodded. "Exactly. I'm not there for show. I'm there to do the work." But Alyssa leaned in, frowning slightly. "I respect that," she said, "but some voters might see that intensity and tune it out. There's a line between passionate and alienating." Jasmine didn't hesitate. "And when have you ever seen that line applied fairly? Does Marjorie Taylor Greene worry about being alienating? Does Jim Jordan check his tone before bulldozing a witness? Silence. I've learned that when you play by rules that weren't written for you, you lose twice, once in the fight, and again in the narrative." Whoopi looked like she wanted to speak, but held back. The room's temperature had shifted, and everyone felt it. Alyssa tried again, her voice tighter. "But can't we acknowledge that delivery matters more than content sometimes? In politics, optics are everything." Jasmine turned to her, calm but firm. "Alyssa, I've navigated optics my whole life. I walk into a room, and half the people have already decided who I am before I speak. I'm not naive. I know how I'm watched, every gesture, every breath. But if I spend my energy worrying about the comfort of those who misunderstand me, who's left to fight for the people who need me?" The audience clapped, louder, heads nodding. Terrell, backstage, leaned forward, fingers laced. Jasmine continued, turning to Whoopi. "Half the time, I sit there while some man tries to rattle me with smirks and sarcasm. I've got law degrees and lived experience. I've defended people with nothing but a prayer. So no, I'm not going to smile politely when someone questions my intelligence on the record. I'll correct them on the record." Whoopi nodded, her voice low. "I've been doing this show a long time, and not everybody leaves something behind." You just gave a lesson on how to stay in your seat and shake the table. Laughter mixed with applause. Jasmine grinned, just a little. Sunny wasn't done. "Don't you ever worry that if you're always in fight mode, people will stop listening?" Jasmine's expression stayed steady. "There's a difference between fight mode and truth mode. I don't yell. I don't name call. I speak directly. If that makes people uncomfortable, maybe they should ask why directness is so threatening from a woman like me." The audience erupted, whistles, claps, hands raised. The tension hadn't vanished. It had evolved into something bigger, something no one on the panel had fully anticipated: accountability. Then Joy Behar leaned forward, her tone clipped. "Jasmine, I hear you, but don't you think it's dangerous to make it about race every time someone critiques your delivery?" The room stiffened, a thick silence settling. Jasmine's eyes locked on Joy. "I didn't make it about race," she said slowly. "The way I'm treated did that before I opened my mouth." Joy raised a hand. Defensive. "I'm just saying, sometimes criticism is just criticism." Jasmine's voice stayed level. "And sometimes what you call criticism is a coded reminder to stay in a lane that was never mine to begin with." Anna shifted uncomfortably. Sunny looked away. The audience wasn't clapping now, they were listening. "I've sat in rooms where men with less experience talked over me, and nobody said a word," Jasmine continued. "I've had reporters ask about my clothes instead of my policy. And now I'm being asked if I'm making it about race when I point out patterns anyone with eyes can see. The problem isn't that I speak plainly, it's that people are more upset about me naming the problem than the problem itself." Whoopi stepped in, trying to recalibrate. "What Jasmine's doing here isn't easy. You don't speak truth and expect a smooth ride." Jasmine chuckled softly. "Smooth rides aren't built for people like me."